Left and their media poodles have long held up New Zealand as the model for how to properly deal with a lot of things, including COVID. But anyone who loves freedom should take note, because the Kiwis have a terrifying new response to rising COVID case numbers. They're throwing people into quarantine camps.
If someone refuses in our facilities to be tested, they have to keep staying. So they won't be able to leave after 14 days. They have to stay on for another 14 days. So it's a pretty good incentive. You either get your tests done and make sure you're cleared, or we will keep you in a facility longer. So I think most people will look at that and say, I'll take the test.
No leaving the camp until you're negative. The left's other COVID role model, the EU, is taking equally drastic measures. They're requiring government officials to use thermal imaging cameras designed by a Chinese company, the same one that provides surveillance equipment to the concentration camps that they call re-education camps for the Uyghur Muslims. Joining me now is Victor Davis Hanson, Hoover Institution Senior Fellow. Victor, are these the type of scenarios we're going to be facing under a Biden administration?
Yeah, it's frightening. I mean, here the virus started in China, it was spread from China, and now China is offering the West the methodology and technology of fascism to supposedly cure what they started. It reminds me of Crassus in Rome. You know, he had the private fire brigade. He pulled up when a fire was devouring a house, and he said, for a price, I'll be willing to put your fire out, but better yet, I'll buy it at rock bottom prices. That's what the Chinese, that whole technology and methodology, I guess, is seen in the West by. But it's also bizarre because we're not in an ascending pattern. We're having 1 million tests per day almost, so we're bound to have more cases. But the cases are mostly asymptomatic. They're more younger. The death rate is going back down. The therapeutics, medicines are improving. The vaccination is on the horizon. It's not the time to double down on this lockdown, and it begs the question, why are these people doing these things? And in the case of New Zealand, they have a nation of 5 million people. They've only lost, tragically, but they've lost 25 people. That's an astounding low number to throw away personal freedom. And here in the United States, whether it's Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama or Joe Biden, they've all said that this is an opportunity not to let it go to waste, as Hillary Clinton was explicit about it. They want to use
Victor, I got to ask you,
and the lockdown to recalibrate things.
Yeah, speaking of that, but that's why these polls showing that Trump is behind in Michigan, given what's at stake in Michigan, Victor, with future lockdowns, which they're coming. They're coming under Biden. They're setting the table for that if he wins. So they're going to lose their economy. The virus will still be there as it was in Europe after their lockdowns. So what do they get? They get a wrecked economy and COVID. So how would Michigan go along with this in any resort?
They're not going to. I don't think they're going to go along with it. I think another element, this has always been a class issue, and Trump is finally doing a good job in emphasizing that. The people who are out there working and have small businesses and can't afford to, avoid and do what I'm doing right now, telecommunicating, they don't have a choice, and they've been absolutely destroyed. And Amazon and Walmart and all these large conglomerates and people in the professions and insurance and law, high tech, they've done pretty well. And they're the people telling the rest of the country, you've got to lock down more, you've got to lose more money, we have to have zero chance that you're going to get infected. But these people, if they did that, all the people like us, where I am, in an isolated room, we wouldn't have anything to eat, we wouldn't have any fuel, we wouldn't have any electricity. So it's really a terrible thing. And we're not even talking, Laura, about all the people who have died from missed surgeries that you've so eloquently had on your show, and spousal abuse, substance abuse. So it's really hitting the middle classes very hard, and I don't think they're going to take it, especially when these elites keep telling us that there's opportunities to be had in this crisis. Not quite as crass as Jane Fonda that said, thank God for the COVID crisis, but something near that they can recalibrate American freedoms and manipulate the First Amendment under the guise that we're all going to die unless you let them take control of our lives.
I jump in, Victor, but in Europe, and this is a real quick answer on your part, in Europe, when people are standing up against the lockdowns, they're sending people in to call them fascist. So the people who are for freedom are now being branded as fascist and dangerous, and they're being blamed and shamed. Does that sound familiar? Real quick.
Just what? Yeah, it does. You go out and break the quarantine and you're either exempt or punished depending on your ideology and your political correctness. And that's what destroyed all confidence in the quarantine, because it was unfairly applied according to politics, and it was bankrupt.
Yeah.
Now, Europe's doing what we did. You're exactly right. It's familiar.
And it's only going to get worse if, heaven forbid, Biden is elected. Everybody has to understand what's coming. Don't plan Easter dinner.